What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you would, before we get started, hit that subscribe button. That helps the algorithm to really ram my stuff down people's throat. The ramming is what I need to happen for this channel to grow. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would do that. It would benefit me quite a lot. All right. We're going to talk about two things today. First, we're going to kind of break down what the legal ramifications are for Jay-Z with this demand letter that he's received from this attorney Tony Busby, and then from there we're going to look at LeBron James, his connection with not only Jay-Z but P Diddy. We're going to look at the one phrase that I believe LeBron James, if he could take back any words that he has ever uttered in his lifetime, they would be, there ain't no party like a Diddy party. This guy wishes that he would have never opened his mouth and said that right now. I mean, it literally has gotten to a point where he took a break from social media, stopped using social media altogether, okay, because of the sort of hate that he was receiving just from saying that. Now, of course, he said that before P. Diddy was ever even in hot water. He didn't know what he was getting into, right? And to be fair, LeBron James may have been at Diddy parties. Well, we know he was because we saw pictures, and he admitted to having been at a lot of Diddy parties. Doesn't mean he did a damn thing wrong. Okay? It doesn't. It doesn't. Doesn't mean he did a damn thing wrong. But there is a concern, and there could be a concern on his part that he may receive one of these demand letters that Jay-Z did. Okay? Because let me explain how this works. A demand letter goes out. This is the initial letter that goes out in every civil case. Okay? I mean, it is like it's par for the course. You know, this is something that attorneys do this every day across the land in civil cases, and it's basically a letter saying, hey, we haven't taken this public yet, but so and so is accusing you and blah, 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 blah of whatever the crime is. Would you be willing to sit down and let's talk about a way to settle this on the back burner behind the scenes before we make it public? A lot of times, stars will do this just because they don't want their names dragged through the mud, and they don't want their names to be synonymous with such a horrible crime. Okay? Jay-Z and his attorney did not do that. They turned around, in fact, and accused Tony Busby, the plaintiff's attorney, of, trying to coax potential plaintiffs into lying and making up lies about Diddy and other things. Okay, so that was their response to that. All right, so now because of that, we all know about it. All right, this letter, this demand letter that came to Jay-Z's attorney, we didn't hear anything about that until Jay-Z's attorney responded and said, no, we're not doing that. We're not paying a thing. He's not guilty. We're not going to be extorted. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, then Tony Busby put it all out there. Okay. So now, because of that, whether he's guilty or not, Jay-Z will be dragged through this civil case and these civil litigations. All right. So now we already know, and we have already been told from the very, very beginning of all this, that there are tons of Hollywood names that could potentially end up on this docket of people that attended these Diddy parties, okay? And some of them may have been complicit in illegal activities. Some of them may have not. And if they weren't, then maybe their names won't end up on there. But this is also a play for money, for attorneys, right? Because if some sort of civil monetary damages get paid by either Jay-Z or LeBron James or anybody else that gets accused of anything from being at one of those parties, then guess what? The attorney gets the first proceeds of that, right? An attorney gets paid on what? Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got the retainer, but they're also making a percentage of whatever kind of civil monetary damages end up getting paid in the end. Okay, so it's one of those things, whether Jay-Z is guilty or whether LeBron James or anybody else that could be coming for, could be accused of something later on, whether they're guilty or not, as far as civilly goes, is kind of irrelevant to the attorneys. Okay, because the attorneys are trying to get paid either way. All right. And the reason they did this and the reason they put Jay Z on blast the way they did right out of the gate, and as soon as Jay Z and his lawyer denied the claims and said they wouldn't be paying anything, he threw it out in the public, right? It's going to court then, right? The reason he did that is because he's putting all of these other Hollywood players on their heels, right? And letting them know that, look, Jay Z, yeah, he's got more connections than all of you. Like, he's more famous than most of you. Okay, one of the biggest. I mean, he's up there with Diddy in terms of being a hip hop mogul, right? And if we're taking his ass to court, you can best believe that if you were at a Diddy party and you were complicit in any wrongdoing, or maybe even if you weren't complicit, your name could get dragged into this, right? And if you're not willing to respond to the demand letter in kind and sit down with us behind the curtain, behind the scenes, and make some sort of monetary settlement to keep your name out of all this, then if we'll drag Jay Z to court, we'll definitely drag your ass to court, right? That's basically what this attorney is saying. Now, listen, as I said, no proof whatsoever that LeBron James has done anything wrong. To my knowledge, he's not been accused of anything, and maybe he didn't do anything. But I do find it interesting how he said what he said about the Diddy parties. He gets so much hate on social media that he literally comes off of social media. And now, following this, he is playing some of the worst basketball he has ever played in his life. And it makes me wonder if behind the scenes, they're meeting with an attorney right now. It makes me wonder if behind the scenes that LeBron James has not been accused of something and they are currently in negotiations with how to do this, to keep his name out of it. He doesn't want to be dragged through the mud like Jay-Z and his family are, right? It could be happening. I'm going to read a little bit of this article to you guys about LeBron and what his play has been like recently. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit, and that's going to be it because we don't know. And I have a ton of respect for LeBron James, so I'm not trying to drag his name through the mud, but this is a guy who just recently went 0 and 20 from behind the 3-point line. He's only 39. LeBron James does not go 0 and 20 from behind the 3-point line, right? And you can't tell me that because he's 39, it's this thing that when people turn 39, they get to where they can't hit 3-pointers anymore. No, no. But I tell you what could play a role in something like that taking place when it's not typical for him to play that way is mental distraction. Okay. And LeBron James obviously has a lot of that right now. All right. LeBron James steps away from the Lakers for personal reasons, guys. Personal reasons. What are those personal reasons? Could this have anything to do with what he said about ain't no party like a Diddy party? And he plays some of the worst basketball of his career. That's the headline. LeBron James appears to be searching for answers as he steps away from the Lakers amid a worrying decline and swirling trade rumors. LeBron is not with the team right now, Reddick told reporters while at practice on Wednesday. He's out for personal reasons. Excused absence. James missed the first game of the season on Sunday against the Blazers, a 107-98 victory, after previously setting a goal to play all 82 games, in his age 40 season. Reddick added that James would take some time after struggling mightily in the last few games, including an 0 for 20 stretch from behind the 3-point line. LeBron James. LeBron James, 0 for 20 behind the 3-point line. I mean, that's mental. That is mental distraction. It comes during a lull in the Lakers' schedule as they have 4 days between games, thanks to the NBA Cup, with their next matchup coming in Minnesota on Friday. It is unclear if James will return for that game. Also on Wednesday, ESPN's Brian Windhorst said the Warriors will definitely monitor James' status as they look for another star along Steph Curry. With the 82 game pipe dream now dead, the Lakers can focus on resting their all time great forward. James has appeared exhausted as of late after playing in all 23 games up to that point, clearly conserving energy and putting in less defensive effort. The advanced stats show James is slowly starting to show his age, and it is trickling into his game. James' counting stats are still excellent, playing 35 minutes per game while scoring 23 points with 8 rebounds and 9.1 assists. Yeah, I mean, it just shows how good he is. Nowhere near what he used to be, and this just doesn't seem like 0 for 20 behind the 3-point line. That's not an age thing to me. James' 8.4 net rating is the worst among all Lakers starters and by far the worst figure of his career. James also has a 12.5% turnover ratio, a career worst. I mean, this guy's assist record is off the charts, and you're telling me he has a 12.5% turnover ratio, a career worst? Like, why? Yeah, this is not age, guys. This is not an age thing. Like he's got something personally going on in the background. So listen, guys, it's notable, and I have no reason to believe that LeBron James has done anything or been accused of anything. But one thing we do know for sure, okay, he made the statement that he wishes he hadn't have made. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. He catches all kinds of hell on social media, okay, for now, especially after the fact that Diddy has been arrested and now Jay Z is being thrown into the mix. All these names being thrown into the mix, right? And LeBron James knowing and having the knowledge that he has spent time with both of these individuals and has been at numerous Diddy parties. And he's also, heard the whispers behind the scenes that there are tons of high list celebrity names and athletes too that are expected to be named as they go throughout this whole legal process with Diddy. Um, what is he thinking, guys? I mean, to me, the way he's been playing recently speaks to a guy who not is just 39 years old going on 40, but to a guy that's hella distracted. Okay? I mean, it could be one of those things where he hasn't done anything wrong, but he's getting extorted for something. you know some because I'm very objective on here. I've always been very objective on here, so I am absolutely aware that there are people out there that are social piranhas that like to take little nibbles out of these big huge stars and will do anything and everything and say anything and everything to extort people or to get a little money or to bribe people who have a lot of money. There are people out there like that. I know it sounds like a lot of people want to think. I don't know if it's just that people think that, all the folks out there are just inherently good and would never do anything like that. I don't know why people have such a hard time believing that this is true, but there are absolutely people out there that would not think twice about lying through their filthy teeth if they thought that it could get them a couple of $1 million. that would set them up for the rest of their lives, you know? And we're talking about very wealthy individuals. You know, Jay-Z, extremely wealthy individual, married to an extremely wealthy individual, right? You're talking about LeBron James. I mean, one of the top 5 best ever, if not the best ever basketball players in history. I mean, this guy shits money and then wipes his ass with money. Okay, so I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything, but he could be being accused of something in the background, and he could be in some sort of situation right now. Maybe he received a demand letter in the background. You know, I mean, you got to imagine how, even if you didn't do anything wrong, this stuff would weigh on you, man. This stuff would weigh on your mental and emotional health in a huge, huge way. You want to protect your family from all that. You already know you're one of the biggest stars in the world. So if anything does come out, that's not just coming out against you. That's coming out against your wife. It's coming out against your kids. And they are going to have to bear the brunt of all of this right along with you, too. Now, let's say maybe he did do something wrong. Not saying he did. Have no reason to think he did. No reason whatsoever. I don't know LeBron James personally. Obviously, seems like a great guy. Seems like a family man. But what do you guys think about this? Is there something going on behind the scenes with LeBron James that is connecting him to this Diddy thing in a deeper way than just the words that came out of his mouth? Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Damn, I know he wishes he'd have never said that. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let me know what you guys think. Is his distracted play a result of something deeper? A result of something more? Let me know in the comments. If you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.